Hall, the inviolable inner sanctum of Greykeep. Here lies Nortender's seat of power, the seat from which her sovereign strikes accords and passes judgment. There is a certain hush to the cavernous hall and its many passages, as if the legacy of kings and queens fills the expanse with dignified certainty.
All right, let's talk to the queen. What's up, queen?
I see. I had hoped for a different outcome. But you once again made the best out of a hopeless situation. Which is why it is time to make this official.
You mean?
Yes, General Arev. You proved yourself worthy. I hereby pronounce you General of the Wolf Guard. I trust you will lead your soldiers as well as you have done before. A lot depends on it.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I will do my best.
Good. Now, back to the task at hand. Thanks to the Wolf Guard's efforts, we now know that there is a dangerous political movement in Windholm, led by a dwarven priest named Arrakis. Furthermore, the soul vanishing Skadar observed is real, and it's a group of rogue dark elves, led by a masked woman, who are responsible for it. And there are hints that it's connected to the God of Light. This means that there are 3 questions we need to find answers to. 1. Who are those sleepers? 2. Who or what exactly is the God of Light, and how does it plan to enter our world? We hardly know anything about it. And 3. How do we deal with High Hierophant Arrakis and his movement? The last thing we need when facing an ancient god is an empire of crazed dwarves.
Your Majesty, regarding Tahar...
I know. You think those sleepers behind the Soul Harvest are responsible for his death?
It's very likely.
Her death.
Tahar was examining the disappearance of a village when the ambush happened. And, judging by a conversation I had with the mortician, the wounds match the swords of a sleeper.
So it wasn't X-Purity after all.
Probably not.
Well, we shall know for sure once we identify the sleepers and bring them to justice. Another reason to see this through.
Absolutely. So you want to make all these issues Nortander's responsibility?
What other choice do we have? Do not misunderstand, General Arev. I too would rather focus my efforts on rebuilding the country. But both the matter in Windholm and these masked dark elves pose a threat to our empire. And I will not stand by and hope someone else will take care of this for us.
Shouldn't the Royal Army take over now that we know what we're up against?
On the contrary, the Wolf Guard is best suited for any of these missions.
How so?
Because I want to see these matters dealt with as swiftly as possible. Mobilizing the Royal Army would mean a lot of discussions with the other noble houses, for which we lack the time, and I lack the patience.
Fair enough. Any ideas where we can find information on the God of Light?
Remember when I told you that I've been following a lead? Turned out this one wasn't a dead end. We already knew that many religions mentioned the God of Light, albeit under different names. There's one in particular, though, that sparked our interest. The Alyani.
The tribe indigenous to the Howling Steppes? How can they help us?
Well, unlike other religions, their entire faith revolves around the God of Light. It plays a pivotal role in their culture.
So you want to travel there and find out if they know anything worthwhile, correct?
I think it's worth a try.
Agreed. General Arev, you will travel to the Howling Steppes with a division of your best soldiers and find us some answers.
Understood. Where should we start looking for clues regarding the rogue sleepers?
Well, the first step should be to contact Exalted Father's ambassadors and...
No.
Excuse me?
Dark Elven governance is... complicated. Even if we were to send an emissary right now, it would take us moons to even get an answer.
Then what do you suggest?
We reach out to a contact of mine, the leader of the Black Company. He knows all the dark corners of the Dark Elven realm, And I'm sure he can dig up some information on those rogue sleepers as well. With your permission, I'll send a messenger and arrange a meeting in Calabrok.
You have it. General Aref, you will accompany Skadar and see if this mercenary lord has anything worthwhile to say.
All right. And how do we stop Ericus without starting a war?
With the help of someone who is on her way to Greykeep as we speak. We will confer once she is here.
Someone?
You shall see. It appears that we have a plan. The quicker we follow up on these matters, the better our chances of stopping the rock slide before it crashes down the slope. Good luck, and thank you for all your service. You have done well.
Tell me this is a joke, Ambassador. Tell me this is a bloody joke.
I'm afraid not, Commander.
What's going on?
I've served the crown for 30 years. 30 years! And now she discards me like an old pair of boots?
The caravan's safety was your responsibility. And by walking off with that recruit, you endangered all of us. I'm sorry. You were only 2 years from your retirement either way. And the incident will not impact your pension. The Crown will not let you...
Go to hell!
General, is there anything I can help you with?
What was that about? Your argument with Commander Reinhold.
The Queen demoted him for his failure on the Golden Road. She basically sent him into early retirement.
That's appropriate. His behavior endangered the entire division.
I agree. Sauntering about the forest with that recruit? He was careless.
Has our dwarven ally arrived yet?
Not yet, but we have received word that she passed the Gates of Kings 2 days ago. In other words, she will arrive soon. If you'd be willing to wait, I could arrange a conclave right after she arrives.
All right, I'll wait.
Good.
Your Majesty?
Rhaera Hellstone, rise.
Your Majesty, it's an honor. I'll keep it brief. High Hierophant Arrakis has enemies in Windhome too. The Blackstone Rebels, which I lead together with my brother Malik. We are planning a coup, and we're hoping for the Crown's support.
And just how did you and your brother get to lead a rebellion?
We both have our reasons. Suffice it to say that Arrakis spits on everything we hold dear. And also, we're not leaders. We're the faces of hundreds who refuse to stand by and watch as this sodding lunatic steers our homeland into chaos.
Very noble of you.
And you are?
Wraith Skadar. He is assisting us in another matter.
I see. Well, Wraith Skadar, I don't claim to be a saint. If you don't trust me, fine, but I'm all you're getting.
If we doubted your intentions, you would not be here.
Good to hear.
So not all the dwarves in the Windhome support Ericus?
Of course not. His ideology is a current that threatens to drag under everyone who doesn't fit the ideal. And even among those who do, there are many who oppose it, as they should. Since this talk of granite suns is by far the, pardon my language, Your Majesty, most damned idiotic thing I've heard in years.
Wait, Blackstone Rebels? Did you borrow that name?
From the uprising against King Rorik 15 years ago. Aye. So you know about our history?
No, but one of the Circle Mages, Iskrim, someone close to him died during the rebellion.
Many good men and women died. We chose this name in their honor.
Interesting. So instead of engaging directly, you want to support these rebels? Is that it, Your Majesty?
Yes.
How do you know if we can trust them?
We do not. But once again, it is our best option. We've already pushed our luck by recapturing Dracot, and we cannot intervene directly without risking another war.
Nobody wants another war. Look, General, I understand your reservations. But trust me, if it were up to me, I'd be on a ship to Zoo by now. I'm doing this because I have to. And I have no intention of staying once this scumbag is back where he belongs. In chains, and in the darkest pit the Windhome dungeons have to offer.
All right. What role do you see the Wolfguard playing in this?
Well, that's simple. We need an experienced soldier to help us with an operation. A heist. Right now, we are many, but lack the coin to become a force to be reckoned with. We intend to change that by borrowing some money and high-quality weapons from Windhome's treasuries. If you help us see this through, we will use this money to build up an army strong enough to take care of Arrakis and reinstate the prince. Also, we will lend the crown the Blackstone Rebels' forces to help you on that mission of yours. If you want us, that is.
Do you think King Rorik's son is fit to lead Windwall? To my knowledge, his father didn't enjoy the best reputation, did he?
Right. Not to mention the fact that he murdered the original Blackstone Rebels, whose name you borrowed.
That's true. But the prince is still a blank slate. It doesn't look like he takes after his father. And with the right guidance, we should be able to steer him in the right direction.
You know about our mission? About the God of Light?
I was briefed, yes.
Why would you risk the lives of you and your men for that?
Dust and stones. You're looking for the fault in everything, aren't you? First of all, it's simply our end of the bargain. You help the rebellion, we help your mission. Secondly, if this God of Light is half as gruesome and dangerous as the rumours about that fight in the Hall of Justice say, only an idiot would sit in our hands while it tries to eat our world. Don't you think?
True.
How do you plan on getting us into Windhome, though? Is there a side entrance?
Way better. Look.
Letter of passage. For Zverak Yor?
One of Eo's most renowned architects, whom we've taken hostage. Arrakis hired her to help with the construction of his statue.
What statue?
You don't know? Arrakis has ordered the construction of a giant statue of Nihalf made of pure moon silver. A monument to Windhome's greatness, apparently.
Huh. So that's the symbol that dwarf in the Windwall outskirts was talking about.
An unrelated question, but did you notice any cases of people disappearing in Windwall? Or its outskirts?
No. This is about the God of Light, right?
Yes.
I see. Well, no, nothing yet. Though now you mention it, there has been talk of strange dark elves patrolling the border. That might be anything, though. Frankly, at this point, Windhome's biggest problem is Arrakis. And I hope it stays that way for now.
Well, that's not good. I dropped a piece of candy. I dropped a piece of candy somewhere in my room. And I have no fucking idea where it landed. So that's gonna attract great kind of insects.
You kidnapped the architect?
Aye, but don't worry. We simply took her somewhere where she won't mess up our plan. She's well cared for and will be released once the coup has been seen through.
A statue made of pure moon silver? That's madness.
Arrakis in a nutshell.
Arrakis wants an Empyrean architect to design the statue? Am I the only one who sees the irony in that?
No, he sees it too. Which is why the letter also contains strict orders not to question its bearer too much.
That's convenient.
But I'm not Zverak Yor. How does this letter help us?
Says who? You spent years in Imperia, and you even have a slight accent. Windhome folk aren't particularly cosmopolitan, so they won't know the difference. You take the letter, show it to the gate guards, and they'll let you pass. No questions asked. Then we meet up with my brother, discuss the plan, and see it through together.
Excellent. General, make all the necessary preparations. Even if the mission succeeds, it will take the rebels a while to set the coup in motion. In other words, the sooner we get this done with, the better.
Understood.
Ooh. What is she? She is a demonologist and a beguilement with a dex build. Interesting. Melee? Battle staff melee. Okay. Well, we're gonna get 1 point in these so I can get telekinetic push. Oh no, this is combat art, not demonologist. Oh. 13% chance to hit one additional target. That's really good. Damage against humanoid creatures. That's also pretty good. But I'm taking whirlwind. That's also really good. I got 1 point left. Let's grab Song of Harmony. Apply. Okay, we're good.
Yes?
Is she somewhere here too?
What's this?
General, is there anything I can help you with?
So long.
Tiara's light, General.
Stay close.
General.
How come you don't have a dark elven accent?
My accent? Oh, I lost it ages ago. When I moved to that remote village where I conducted my studies. They had their own dialect.
What's your take on our companions?
Why?
Because I value your opinion.
Sorry, but I don't like these kind of conversations. I'm sure you're capable of forming your own opinions.
I'd like to learn more about your craft. Mysticism.
Such as?
You mentioned that there is more than just one reality.
That is correct.
What do we know about the reality the God of Light comes from?
Not much, I'm afraid. Hopefully that'll change soon.
How come I haven't heard about this?
Probably because the other realities don't affect us. I mean, think about it. Yes, there are millions of other realities out there. Some very similar to our world, others where the principal kinds or the guardians don't even exist. But how does this impact us as individuals? Yes, the scholarly aspect is exciting, but that's about it. I think that's also the conclusion the Hibernians came to eventually. They extensively researched the matter for hundreds of years, and then just stopped.
If the God of Light can enter other realities, couldn't we too?
In theory, yes. In practice, however, I doubt that organisms such as ourselves would survive such an attempt. We talked about this, but the Hibernians spent a lot of time trying to transport living beings into other realities through minuscule fractures in the veil. However, everybody they attempted to send through died instantaneously. It's ironic if you think about it, isn't it? There's an infinite number of worlds right behind the veil, yet we're stuck on the other side of the looking glass.
You said that you can feel souls. How is that possible?
Hard to describe. Though I think it's an ability every mage could learn. I've always had it. Just imagine, the sea. The sound of the waves. If you live near the shore, you'll probably become insensitive to it eventually, to the point where you can't even hear it anymore. It's similar with the Tapestry of Souls. Most people have the ability to sense it, but they've grown numb to the stimuli. That never happened for me.
So what you're saying is you can hear the presence of a soul? A flame?
Plural, but yes. To stay within the metaphor, when the vanishing first happened, it was as though somebody dropped a stone within a perfectly unmarred sea. It caused ripples. I know that may sound a bit vague, but it's hard to explain to somebody who has never seen the tapestry at all.
Does seeing someone's soul also allow you to read their thoughts?
I wish it did. No. I can tell a person's age and magical gift, but that's about it.
Let me ask you something else. Could you tell me more about yourself?
What is it with all the questions, General Erev? I don't mind, but I don't really see the point.
Because I'd like to get to know you better.
Is that so? Well, ask.
What was your profession back when you still lived in Lar?
Intelligence.
What?
Right. You wouldn't know. Dark Elven children are taken from their birth parents at the age of 4 and are given a concoction that wipes most of their memory. Then they are sent into the communes. Giant buildings where they live until they come of age, with hundreds of other children who were born the same year. These are their brothers and sisters, whereas the Exalted Father and his Queen become their parents from the time they enter the commune until they come of age.
The Exalted Father becomes their actual father? That's mostly symbolic, isn't it?
Symbolic, but deeply imprinted into their brains.
Your son didn't grow up in a commune, though, did he?
No. We lived in a village near the border where laws weren't that strict. Also, being influential, as I was back then, allows different options when it comes to the upbringing of your child.
Figures. They wipe their memory? In other words, dark elves don't know their birth parents?
No. And reaching out to your child while it's still in the communes is a punishable crime. You'd also be wasting your time, because once your child has been given the concoction, you're no more than a stranger to him or her anyway.
To what end, though?
To weed out the weak from the strong, and to determine which caste the child is most suitable for. Intelligence, strength, endurance, etc.
So they are raised and educated in the communes?
By the overseers, yes. Though they don't intervene too much, apart from training and teaching them. The idea is to let the pack, the children of each generation, develop their own hierarchy and dynamics.
Throw them into a pit and see who comes out on top.
Well said.
And the parents agree to this?
Well, they don't bake cakes and throw confetti to mark the occasion, but yes, they agree. The communes are an inseparable part of Dark Elven culture, and, albeit at a cost, they work. The communes provide every child with the same chance. That's more than can be said about Finon Mir or Nortanda culture.
I guess that's true. Because it doesn't matter whose child it is, right? Every child gets the same treatment. Whoever comes out on top stays on top. So, equal chance.
Strength, intelligence, and endurance. So Dark Elven society is divided into castes.
Yes, the entirety of which constitutes the realm. Speech rules, strength fights, and wisdom preaches.
And what happens to the weak?
Depends. Most of them just end up in endurance, doing farmer's work. Others die.
Interesting. And you were assigned to the intelligence?
Correct.
What castes are there?
6. Strength, intelligence, speech, wisdom, endurance, and soul.
Strength is the army?
Army, city guard, and so on. Pretty much every job that requires muscle and knowing how to kill. Most Black Company mercenaries used to be members of the Strength before they changed professions.
Figures. What do members of the Wisdom do?
Preach. They devote their life to both Nor and the Exalted Father and spread his ideas.
Endurance?
Yes. The workers, farmers, and craftsmen. They do the simplest, but often the hardest and most important jobs. Not the truly demanding ones, though. Those are reserved for the slaves.
What's the purpose of the speech?
Politics, mostly. Or bureaucracy. Like Ambassador Jarrus here in Greykeep.
What does the soul embody?
The leadership. The Exalted Father is a member of the Soul, as are most nobles and people of influence. You're not really chosen for the Soul, though. You need to be born into it. In other words, unless your parents are members of the Soul, chances are next to naught that you'll be raised into it. I mean, there are exceptions, but they are rare.
What's the purpose of the intelligence? To study magic?
To gather knowledge and explore magic, yes. Did you ever marvel at all the constructs, demons, and creatures that make the Exalted Father's army such an impressive force? They wouldn't exist without the intelligence. Certainly, spending most of your life in dank laboratories may not be as glamorous as fighting for glory on the battlefield, doing nifty politics and attending conclaves, or holding masses in front of hundreds of lost souls. But if it weren't for the intelligence, the Exalted Father's empire wouldn't be what it is today. Not at all.
I can imagine. And your mission was to study the nature of life and death?
And the nature of reality, yes. I have to say, if there is one thing I miss about the time before my exilement, it was the Dark Elves' appreciation for magic and knowledge. Not even Kalea's universities can hold a candle to the sanctum of the intelligence in Karlabrock.
What made you leave the Dark Elven Empire?
Long story. I don't want to talk about it.
How is Dark Elven culture different from Nortandian culture?
In just about every aspect. Dark Elves value the collective over the individual. Hardship over pleasure. Self-control over displays of emotion.
What do you think about it?
Good question. I used to be an avid advocate of Dark Elven culture. But now that I've lived abroad for a while, I can see why most foreigners demonize us. Slavery, sacrifice, demonic incantations. It's easy to write the Exalted Father off as the epitome of evil. The truth is, however, somewhat more complex. Karlabrock's system may be brutal,
It always is.
but it works. Better than most societies, for that matter.
How do you feel about being in exile?
I don't know. I suppose part of me misses having a sense of home, roots. But there's no point dwelling on the past. It is how it is.
Is there anything you miss?
I can't say. Ever since I left, I haven't really looked back.
But at what cost?
Society always means compromise. I don't think the Exalted Father rejoices in the suffering some of his servants have to endure. The only reason it seems evil to you is because you come from a different culture that values different ideals.
True.
Let me ask you something else. Well, thanks for the insights.
Sure.
Back in Lar, you said that you lost your family to the Bloodburn. Would you like to talk about it?
No. I'm sorry, but I don't see how my personal life is relevant to our mission. I am here because the God of Light is a threat to us all, and I want to see the matter dealt with as swiftly as possible.
Don't you feel easier around people you know?
Of course I do. However, I'm not here to feel easy, but to stop the God of Light from devouring this world.
Well, if you ever feel the need to talk about it, I'm here.
I don't think that will happen, but I appreciate the sentiment. If it's conversation you want, why don't we talk about your past instead? Judging by those nightmares you have, and according to the rumors, your waters also run deep.
Wait, how do you know about my nightmares?
Well, I'm a light sleeper myself. And it doesn't take a dreamweaver to connect those shouts that came from your tent just before we arrived in La and a pair of bloodshot eyes to your ominous past.
If by my past you're talking about that incident in Imperia, I have to disappoint you. I don't remember it.
Oh, that's fine. I wasn't interested in the details anyway. I only care about the result. You made a tragic mistake, and other people paid the price for it. In the end, that's what it comes down to, isn't it?
I guess. What are you getting at?
I merely want your opinion on a question I haven't found an answer to. Say a person makes a terrible mistake. How can that person be sure he or she won't do it again if confronted with an identical situation?
There are no entirely identical situations.
Well, it was a hypothetical question, but fine. You don't have to answer. Frankly, I think most people are too quick to forgive themselves for their mistakes. It's almost as if they believe that their apologies and regret undo them altogether. They don't. I know it sounds dramatic, but if an innocent ever suffers under your actions, it leaves a stain on your soul. And that stain stays for the rest of your life, which is good, if you ask me. Some sins don't deserve forgiveness, and some sinners don't deserve absolution.
True that.
So, what exactly are you saying? That I am beyond absolution?
I don't know what you did, so I can't say. I guess what it boils down to is that people who messed up, whoever they may be, would do best not to forget that, and be particularly aware of their actions and decisions.
You're right. People are too quick to forgive themselves.
So you agree? That's a surprise. All that being said, I do approve of the Queen's decision to make you General of the Wolf Guard. I even see why she did it. It's better to have someone who knows their demons lead us than someone who doesn't. Now let's get back to the task at hand, shall we? General.
Did you hear back from the Black Company's leader yet? We still need to find information on those rogue sleepers.
Not yet, but that doesn't surprise me. The man likes to take his time. I suggest we deal with the other matters first.
I'll be going. We'll speak later.
Sure.
What do we have here?
Atop the mammoth stronghold of
That was
Greykeep
30 minutes of
sits
pure
King's Vantage,
lore.
a gathering
I love
place
it.
of merchants, servants, and nobles alike.
I love
From
it.
here, the high towers of the keep encircle the terrace, a
Such
grove of
interesting
stone
elven
jutting out
culture
from the
too,
city
or
below.
dark elven culture. So different than what I'm used to as dark elven.
Armors,
Interesting.
shields, everything from copper daggers to moon silver swords.
Oh, spears are only one-handed.
Good choice.
Something about a heist. I can take care of that.
Hey, you're an adventurer, aren't you? Come take a look. I'm sure I've got something that might spark your interest.
Nope.
Looking for potions and scrolls? I'm sure I have just what you need.
Oh, hell yes. Give me all those upgrades. I am so glad that they're selling all these at one location now.
Good choice.
You'll find just what you need.
Whoa. A lot of these already claimed.
Come again.
Yes.
Oh, I can grab this now. Amazing. Give me that.
Yes?
Farewell.
Good day, General.
If it isn't the puny paleskin. Yes?
Axes, daggers, swords, everything for the wary traveler. A fair offer.
I have to be going.
Yes, yes. Do as you please. Now, back to work.
Farewell.
Work.
Over here.
General. What do you think of the people who've joined us?
General, I didn't peg you as a gossip.
All right, I'll play.
Who do you mean?
What's your take on Wraith?
Wraith. He doesn't trust me. He's had a painful lesson not to put faith in a fragile world. I respect him for that. But it's not as doom and gloom as he makes it. He's swimming in the ocean, refusing to look anywhere but down, so of course he only sees the abyss. If only he'd look up.
What do you think of Iria?
For being the first mage of the circle, she's surprisingly nice.
That surprises you?
Maybe she doesn't fully realize it, but she's a leader. Leaders don't usually end up in their positions without being a little ruthless, even those with the best intentions. It's refreshing, and I can see she's very nice to you.
What?
Oh, nothing.
I'd like to learn more about the dwarves. Can I ask you some questions?
I'm no anthropologist, General. Doesn't Greykeep have a library?
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend.
I believe you. Ask me about something I know, like brandy and the drinking of brandy.
Want to get a drink?
Now that's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Ugh, why is everything still spinning?
I wanted to know more about you.
Me? Fancy that. Alright, what do you want to know?
So, when you're not overthrowing tyrannies or traveling the world, do you spend time with anyone special?
Stonks, I see where this is going. No, General, there's no dear lad waiting for me somewhere.
Do you want there to be?
Listen, General, I don't mix work and play. Personal rule of mine. And more than that, you're not really my type.
That's not what I meant.
Isn't it? I've lived at sea long enough to know when someone is propositioning me. Not gonna happen.
Are you from Windholm?
Aye, born and raised. Although I hadn't been back until a few months ago.
Why's that?
Well, I was busy, I guess. Seeing what else was out there. I ended up with some privateers out in the Sea of Dreams.
How does one end up with privateers?
I guess one thing led to the next. Malik and I owed a debt to some traders. They knew I was good with the blade, so I served as a bodyguard on their expedition.
And they turned out to be privateers?
No, it turned out they owed the privateers a debt. And when some bloody wolves tore our camp and the traders to bits, Captain Tarzan stuck me with the debt. So I served on her ship.
Why didn't you try to run?
Oh, I did. Not at sea, obviously, but each time we made port, they always had a way of finding me. After a while, though, I realised I actually enjoyed it. Being out there with only blue above and blue below, chasing sea rats like hounds on a hunt, it was freedom. The crew accepted me as their own.
Then how did you come back?
I got a letter from Malik about what was happening in Windhome. I told the captain. She paid out my cut and bid me good tides.
Just like that?
Aye. Just like that. Best captain on the seas. Once this business is taken care of, I plan to rejoin them. Maybe finally drag Malik along too.
So you were a pirate?
Dust and stones, no. More like a pirate chaser. We were contracted by some minor Northander lords to protect their merchant vessels. Drove off a lot of sea thieves.
Where was Malik while you were adventuring?
He stayed in Windhome. Took a job as a labourer in the mines. I was only supposed to be gone a short while, but when it became clear I wouldn't be back, I asked him to join me. But he declined. Said he liked his feet on solid ground. We wrote letters, though. That was always my favourite part about returning to port. Finding a letter waiting for me about my brother's latest news.
You must have had a lot of adventures. Got any stories?
Aye, I do. Buy me a drink or three and maybe I'll tell you.
Do you have other family in Windhome? Parents?
It's always just been me and Malik. We jumped around in the streets for a while before an orphanage took us in. The woman who ran it, she's the kindest person I know. She took in everyone, even though she had practically nothing to spare. And yet she's the kind of person Arrakis would sweep away. Not because of her character, but because of the haves and have-nots.
Sounds like you had a rough childhood.
Stones. It was rough. But you know, in a way I'm grateful. Having nothing makes you appreciate what little you do have. The people who work their arses off to survive, those are some of the strongest people I know. And it's how I know we're better than this Granite Suns bullshit. A lot of us don't want this. We just have to empower ourselves to resist.
That's all I wanted to know. See you later, Rara.
See ya.
Not as interesting as the Dark Elf, I'll be honest.
Out of the way.
Rayeth, or Rayeth, however you want to pronounce it, is more interesting than her.
War
suppose
after war
not
has
everyone can
scarred
be
Fiara,
interesting.
altering the tides of power across much of the continent. In Northander, a fragile hope for peace drives the efforts to rebuild a ravaged kingdom. A new beginning dawns for the Morhir, as their new settlement finally takes shape, while the orcs realize the dream of the Great Khal.
Howling Steps. Windhome Howling Steps. Let's go to Howling Steps first because I have 2 quests there, while Windhome only have 1. Oh man, I have to pick.
To the grave.
God, she is a beast. Look at her. Just decked from top to bottom with just heavy plated armor. Ridiculous. Okay. I think we're gonna try Dark Elves again.
With autumn sun to warm your skin and a breeze on your back, the journey to the Howling Steps is surprisingly pleasant. You sleep better than you have in months, and as you arrive at the border, you feel almost rejuvenated. The clean air, the vastness, inhospitable as the steps may be, there is a certain peace to them. All the more surprising then, as the wind carries a stench towards you as you close in on the Aliani village.
Here we are. The Howling Steps.
As inviting as a crypt. Is it just me or does it smell like undead arse here?
Ugh. You're right, it does. Come on, let's take a look around. The village is just up ahead.
That's a giant beetle.
By the... See that? What by the Guardians was that?
I have no idea. Some kind of mutated insect. Do you see that fog over there? That must be where that stench is coming from.
This doesn't bode well if you ask me. Let's find that village.
Okay. That goes there. Reanimation goes there. Siphon goes there. Song of Harmony goes there. Inactivate it. Whirlwind goes here. Tectonic Slam or Tectonic Slam can go there.
Yes?
Ricochet shot. Cleansing arrow. Impaling shot. Holy blessing.
I'm here.
Call the Forsaken. And reanimation. Perfect.
We should move. Sounds like a plan.
Why is the frame rate so low here?
Up ahead. What's this?
You can't go that way. Okay.
You got it.
Save.
What do we have here? Greetings. We...
Leave.
Look, we don't mean any harm. We're here because we need your help.
And we don't want your help.
Yes?
No, we need your help.
Zoema, what's going on here?
Kayawu. Blessings. The world has blessed us with outsiders again.
You're not with the bandits, are you?
We're not bandits. We're from the Wolf Guard.
Wolfguard? I see.
Look, if you want shelter and provisions, we can set up a tent for you outside the village walls. But you cannot enter, period. Now leave.
I don't understand. Why can't we enter the village?
Because our faith demands that we avoid contact with outsiders, regardless of their intentions. Though...
Listen, we don't want to disrespect your customs, but there's a lot at stake here.
There always is.
Let them pass, Waremu.
What? But the law...
Won't help us deal with the bandits or the plague, whereas the outsiders might. Let them pass. You may restock your provisions inside. When you're done, meet me in the eastern part of the village.
Stubborn boy. Fair enough, outsiders, you may enter. But we'll be keeping an eye on you. Behave yourself, outsider.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That way?
Keep it up. Huh. Interesting.
An outsider? Oh, what blessings. Please, stay a while. Let us trade.
What do you have to trade?
Knowledge. Answers for answers. It is a rare opportunity to learn about the outside world. Come, ask me anything.
What's your role in the tribe? Are you a hunter? A farmer?
I am one of the tribe's many gatherers. We do not farm, you see. The steppes do not allow for it. So instead, the gatherers scour the land for plants and roots. That is how we survive. All right, your turn. What is your home like? Greyfell, was it?
Greyfell isn't actually home for me. I was born in a small village, but I left when I was young. I haven't really thought about that place for a long time.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Don't be.
But I am. Home is everything to us. Family, community, tradition. But I digress. Did you want to speak about something else?
What do you know of the God of Light?
You speak of Sheogdet. I'm sorry, outsider. That is a question I cannot answer.
Why not? Because I'm an outsider?
That is part of it, yes. It is also a topic I personally do not like to dwell on. Shall we speak of something else instead?
Why do you want to know about outsiders? I thought the Aliani shunned the outside world.
Our laws prevent many interactions with outsiders. That is true. And indeed many of my kin want nothing to do with them. But I do not see it that way. Knowledge alone is not dangerous. It is what we do with that knowledge that matters. My curiosity is just that. Curiosity. That we should avoid something does not mean that we should not try to understand it. I, for one, would like to know why we keep the laws that we do.
I wish there were more Aliani like you.
Me too, outsider. Me too. All right, my turn. What would you say is the worst thing about the outside world?
People are greedy. It doesn't matter if they're a king or a beggar. People always want more. Wealth, power, prestige. It's endless.
Ambitions that know no bounds. I see. Very well. Go on. Your turn again.
I'll be going.
All right. Blessings to you then.
You only asked me one question, I asked you three. You should, yeah. Not a bright man.
You have to let this go, Takana. She's with the ancestors now.
I know, but she's still out there. She deserves better.
But there's nothing that can be done. You know that.
You were saying?
Make it good.
I'm listening.
Come again. May Tiara bless your path.
So, what's the plan?
What do you want?
Just give the word.
Oh my god, you still have inferior items?
Yes?
Whew.
What is it?
Good thing we
What
switched
do you
those
need?
out.
Are you all right?
You're that outsider, aren't you? Just keep walking, please.
Wait, Takana, wouldn't they be able to help? You look as though you can defend yourself, outsider.
I suppose I can. What do you need help with?
My wife, Ehina, she went out to gather food a week ago. I told her to stay away from that bandit camp. But she insisted that's the only place you could still find berries. The bandits, they killed her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I told her not to go. Sheog gets mercy she deserves better than to rot on the steppes.
You didn't bury her?
We never found her body. After our last search, the chieftain forbade us from continuing. Said it was too dangerous.
Well, he also said it's time to let go, you know?
And who are you?
The name's Rita. I'm Ihina's sister. Please, outsider, tell my brother here that he needs to move on.
You don't think you should keep searching for her body?
Look, of course I want her found. She should have the full burial rights of our people, but not if it's going to cost the lives of everyone who loved her. Between the plague and the bandits, it's too risky. So no, I think we have looked as much as we can. She is with the ancestors now.
If you never found her body, how do you know she was killed by the bandits?
There were signs of a struggle and blood all over her campsite. There's no animal on the steppes that could do such a thing.
So you found where she was killed, but there wasn't a body?
No, she wasn't there. Maybe the bandits wanted to cover up their crime, or...
Now look what you've done, outsider.
Sorry. I'm not restricted by your chieftain's decree. I could search for her body.
You would do that? An outsider?
I have business in the valley anyway. I can keep an eye out.
Oh, ancestors bless you. You have no idea how much that means to me. Start with her campsite. It's near the bandit camp. We were in a rush when we found it, so maybe we missed something.
Okay, I'll take a look. This way.
Why so laggy here? I don't like it.
Ah, I was hoping you would stop by.
You were?
Why, yes. We have not allowed outsiders into the village for nearly 40 years. As such, your actions here will be recounted in our stories. And since it's my honor to carry these stories, I was hoping to speak with you.
I'd like to learn more about your people. Are there any stories you can share?
Ah, you are interested in our stories. Well then, let me tell you of Kahi and the wind. In the earliest days, the winds ravaged all lands. It shaped mountains, carved waves in the oceans. Everything bowed to it. Our people struggled to exist in such chaos, until Kahi challenged the wind to a race. She held up a small stone. Whoever could retrieve the stone first would be the victor. The wind, confident in its power, agreed without hesitation. But when the race began, Kahi threw the stone into the lake. Though the wind blew with the strength of a cyclone, it could not reach the bottom of the lake. Kahi dove down and retrieved the stone. Enraged, the wind howled for having been tricked, but Kahi was not moved. She commanded the wind to be calm so that our people might flourish. Still, the wind is devious, and it is said that when Kahi's spirit is not looking, it acts up and causes the storms that rage on the steppes. But Kahi's spirit always returns to remind the wind of its place.
That was an interesting story. Thanks for sharing with me.
My pleasure.
You mentioned the last time outsiders were allowed into the village was 40 years ago. What happened?
Yes. Many in the village chose not to remember, but I carry that story with me. A fierce storm had swept over the steppes. The howling winds and lashing rains kept the children awake for nights on end. On one of those nights, 3 outsiders appeared at the village gates. Traders, they claimed, who had been caught in the storm. One of them was gravely ill. Mayawa called them rotten and began to close the gates, until his mother, the chieftain, stopped him.
What happened next?
The outsiders were allowed to rest and recover in the village. Many of the people were uneasy, but they trusted the chieftain's decision. As soon as the storm cleared and the outsiders were well again, we sent them on their way. We never saw them again.
That's it? You nursed them back to health and then sent them away?
Perhaps you mistake kindness for friendship. Our chieftain bore no love for outsiders either, but she did respect our teachings. It was she who told them never to return.
I see. Thanks for the story.
Of course.
I have to go now.
As you wish. Listen for the storm.
I have to change the graphic settings. This is ridiculous. Oh, restart is required. Fuck! Because the frame rate is dumb. This map's frame rate is just ridiculously low. I don't know why. The previous map had actually pretty, like, was actually pretty okay in terms of frame rate. It stayed at 60 the whole time. This, for some god-awful reason, is not staying at 60. It's staying at
what do we have
14.
Here?
That's ridiculously low. Oh, hey, dude.
Huh. Leave here, outsider. No good will come from you poking around.
Look, I'm not here to cause any trouble.
Aren't you now? Well, what do you want then?
Why do you hate outsiders so much?
We do not hate. What you mistake for hatred is simply our way of saying no. No, you may not enter. No, you may not spread your outsider ways.
But why be so unfriendly? We haven't done anything.
So you claim. The simple truth is we do not owe outsiders anything. Not our friendship, not our customs. Anything else.
What's life like on the steppes?
Why do you want to know?
I'm gonna have to restart this game. I can't believe it's running at 13 frames a second.
I'm just curious. Even without those beetles, it seems like a pretty desolate place to live.
Well, I won't lie. It is. Desolate, bleak, miserable. These are words I would use to describe the steppes.
Then why live here? Why not move?
Because it is home. It is where we are connected to our ancestors, to the truth of who we are. If we were to leave, no matter the ease of survival or the pleasantness of our surroundings, there would always be something missing. We would always be longing to return.
I see.
I hope you do, truly.
I'll leave you alone then.
These people are so boring. Oh my god. So far, none of them have said anything interesting to me at all. Okay. Is there like no way to reset it to default? I guess not. It's just this map that's really bad. It feels horrible to play on.
Over here. What's this?
Outsider, you found me. First of all, I hope you didn't take Zawema's distrust personally. It's just, well, we Aliani can be quite rigid when it comes to our traditions.
I noticed that. The name's General Erev, by the way. So, from what I gathered, your village is in some kind of trouble, and you could use our help. Is that right?
Most of my people would disagree, but yes, I think we do. I assume you also didn't come here without a reason, did you?
You assume right. We need information about the god you worship.
Sheogdet? Ancestors, that's... That's strange.
How so?
Well, it's a peculiar coincidence. But I think we should save the discussions for later. Let me be brief. Our village is in trouble, and that plague you probably saw on your way here is only part of it. About 2 weeks ago, a group of bandits appeared and took over most of the valley. They've effectively cut us off from our hunting grounds, and slowly but surely, we're running out of food. Now, our chieftain went to negotiate with the bandits, hoping that they could come to some kind of agreement. Even the wise women told him that it's too dangerous, but he wouldn't listen. It's been over 2 hours since he left.
You want to make sure he's all right.
Exactly. I may be mistaken, but you look as though you can handle yourself in a fight.
When you say the plague, I assume you mean those beetles and the fog?
And the fungi that are the root of the problem, yes. But, as I said, I'll explain later.
Your village does have guards though, doesn't it? Why didn't they go look for him?
Because the chieftain forbade anyone from leaving, and they don't dare violate his order. Also, we Aliani aren't... how should I put it? We aren't the most formidable fighters. It has to do with our faith. But there will be time for explanations later. Please, we must go.
What on Io is a group of bandits doing all the way out here?
We're asking ourselves the same thing. Then again, they don't look like ordinary bandits. They are well armed and have members from all races.
Huh. Odd. Fine. Where did your chieftain meet with these bandits?
West of the village. Come, I'll show you.
Look at this. Frame rate is horrid. Oh my god. What did they do to this map?
You there, outsider. Do you have a moment?
Like, seriously, what did they do to this map? Like, let's just cram as much particle effects in it as we can. Let's not worry about, like, anything else whatsoever. Yeah,
war after war has scarred Fiara, altering the tides of power across much of the continent. In Nortender, a fragile hope for peace
I just want to make sure
drives
it's
the efforts
that
to
area,
rebuild a ravaged
not
kingdom.
because like the game has a giant memory
A new
leak or
beginning
something.
dawns for the Mortier.
So we're gonna go to a
as
different area. Look, this is 60, but this is the world map, so who knows? Now let's go back to...
Atop the mammoth stronghold of Greykeep sits King's Vantage, a gathering place of merchants, servants, and nobles alike. From here, the high towers of the keep encircle the terrace, a grove of stone jutting out.
See, even in this town that looks really pretty, it runs at 60. What is wrong with that map? Ugh.
War after war has scarred Fiara, altering the tides of power across much of the continent. In Nortender, a fragile hope for peace drives the efforts to rebuild a ravaged kingdom.
Please optimize that map.
With autumn sun to warm your skin and a breeze on your back,
because this
the
map
journey
right
to the
here is
Howling
just
Steps
horrible.
is surprisingly pleasant. You sleep better than you have in months, and as you arrive at the border, you feel almost rejuvenated. The clean air, the vastness, inhospitable as the steppes may be, there is a certain peace to them.
Hello? What the fuck?
Aye, tell me right. If there's one thing you could change about the world, what would it be?
Less pointless philosophical discussions.
Deflecting the question.
I
Cake
can't
for
move.
everyone. It's a purely theoretical question. Even if you could effect actual change, it would never affect the world as a whole. It just doesn't work that way.
You're a real ray of sunshine.
Yes?
I can't move anymore. Great. Just fantastic.
With autumn sun to warm your skin and a breeze on your back, the journey to the Howling Steppes is surprisingly pleasant. You sleep better than you have in months, and as you arrive at the border,